Hey team, it's Tuesday of race week. Welcome to race week. Race week, can you believe it? Time flies. Everybody's been training hard and it's here. So I want to talk to you about the 5 things to avoid this week to make your race successful and to get the most out of yourself. First one I'd like to talk about is don't panic train. This is a very common thing you see with athletes experienced and new to the sport. They feel like they haven't done enough for whatever reason. And so they go out there and they either try to test their fitness or just try to get in that extra training session. Race week is at the very end of the taper. You should be getting the last bit of rest that your body needs to show up on race day and peak performance, your peak. So you need to do what you need to do to rest well. On the other side of it, don't be the athlete that completely takes the taper to the other extreme where you do nothing. Race week, last week of taper is not the time to sit around and just be completely lazy. So stick to the plan that you've been given. There's a reason for that. There may or may not be intensity. There's a reason for that too. But stick to that. There is some activity on there that's important. You want to keep your body moving and active. Tip number 2, race week is not the time to try to lose those extra pounds, or people don't pay enough attention to portion sizes and really the food that they're eating, and you can actually gain weight in the taper because your training volume has dropped off. So you kind of need to adjust your calorie intake. Not only that, make sure you're eating clean as possible, eating nutrient-dense foods. Your body's still rebuilding from the training that you've accomplished. So you need maybe a little extra protein, but just some good whole food plant-based diet is always what I'm going to recommend. And I say plant-based because I know there's not everybody is a vegan and a vegetarian, but the more healthy, clean, plant-based foods, unrefined, that you can eat, the better. Your body's just going to respond better and perform better on race day. All right, tip number 3, and this could arguably be tip number 1, would be nothing new on race day. It's extremely important to only go with what has been proven and practiced in training. This goes for equipment. This goes for nutrition. This leads me to the topic of the expo, which we're going to get to here in a minute. Nothing in the expo that you see, that you buy, is going to make you somehow significantly faster on race day. So be careful when you're walking through the expos. There's going to be supplements that claim this and claim that, and it's just not the time to try it. If you want to try it, fine. Try it outside of this race, maybe as you continue back into training. But you're always better off just nothing new on race day. Time and time again, things go wrong for that reason. Whether it be even a new bottle cage on your bike that you've never used before, and you lose your nutrition at the first bump. It's just, you have to go with what's tried and true. So nothing new on race day, including nutrition. That's very important. Don't put anything in your body that you haven't tested yet. You don't know how you're going to react to it. So just be on the safe side and go with what you know. Tip number 4. As I mentioned before, this tip is don't overdo the expo. I love the expo personally. I love going down there. I love feeling the excitement of the race, but to a point, and that is my point, is there's a lot of nervous energy down there. There's a lot of race anxiety. And for some athletes, they already have enough race anxiety. So for you, it may be get in, get out. Get in there, get registered, and then go home, put the legs up, go hang out with your friends, go do something relaxing that you want to do. But stay away from the nervous energy, the race anxiety, and the other point is you're already on your feet enough. You need to stay off your feet anyways for the race. So, spending hours down there in the sun, particularly if it's a race where it's going to be hot. Just spending that extra time in the sun on your feet is not going to help you in the days leading up to the race. So that's my tip. Don't overdo the expo. If you're the type of person that feeds off of it, great, but still, just be smart about it. All right, our last tip number 5, kind of ties it all together, and that is just trust the taper. At this point, the saying rings true, the hay is in the barn. You've done all you can do. There is nothing you can do during the last week, race week, last week of taper, that's going to significantly increase your fitness. However, there are many things you can do, like we've mentioned before: panic training, trying stuff that's new. Maybe your buddy wants to go eat at the Indian restaurant down the street, before the race. There's things that you should just try to avoid. There's a risk there. So trust the taper, particularly in your fitness, that you've done all you can do. It doesn't matter anyways, because what's done is done. So even if you haven't done the training that you wanted to do because of time, life, injury, whatever, you simply have to show up on race day and trust and work with what you have to work with. That's all there is to it. But hopefully what you've done is enough to help you realize your goals. And my prayer is that every one of you get the most out of yourself on race day, and most of all, safety and just everybody to have a good race. Man, I'm so excited for each one of you this weekend to realize your goals, to test yourselves. Always remember, you're always stronger than you think you are. You can always go out there and surprise yourself. It's just a matter of finding that why inside, why we all do this. You're going to have to visit that in the race. There's going to be a point where it gets tough. In every race, for everybody, there's a point where you have a battle with the mind and body, and whether you can keep going at that same pace, whether you can keep going, period. There's adversity in every race, just like life, and we just conquer, we overcome, and we're stronger on the other side for it. So that's my prayer, that's my hope for each one of you, is to have an amazing race, an amazing day. It's a privilege and a blessing to do this, and I thank God every day for the athletes that I'm privileged enough to coach, because you are all a huge blessing to me. You give back to me so much more than I can ever give you. So have a great race out there on race day. I'll be looking for each one of you, and can't wait to see you guys cross the line.